Elon Musk has filed an $880 million lawsuit against Whoopi Goldberg and the hosts of TheView, accusing them of defamation and intentional misinformation. This legal action stems from remarks made by Goldberg on the show, where she suggested that Musk and J.D. Vance were conspiring to manipulate government control in the event of Donald Trump's removal from office. The case has ignited debates over free speech, media accountability, and the ethics of commentary on public platforms, adding fuel to the fire. JoeRogan has weighed in on the controversy during his podcast, highlighting what he perceives as the hypocrisy of mainstream media outlets, including TheView. Rogan drew attention to past interactions between TheView and Trump, pointing out how the show's hosts once treated Trump warmly before turning against him during his presidential campaign. Rogan's observations about the media shifting narratives resonated with Musk's claims against Goldberg. Rogan argued that Musk's lawsuit could set a precedent for challenging misinformation and holding media figures accountable for exploiting their platforms to push agendas. Goldberg, meanwhile, has defended her remark, claiming they were not targeted at Musk, but instead a light-hearted reference to her cat. According to Goldberg, her comment about someone potentially tripping Trump was inspired by her cat's habit of lying in wait. On the stairs, critics have dismissed this explanation as a deflection, and Musk's supporters believe Goldberg's sudden shift in tone reveals a sense of guilt. Rodent's comments further bolster Musk's case, reflecting the broader cultural divide over media responsibility. At the heart of Musk's lawsuit are accusations of defamation and slander. The billionaire alleges that Goldberg and her co-hosts on TheView made baseless claims that he and Vance were plotting secret plans to seize government control. Musk's legal team argues that these statements were not only unfounded, but also intended to harm his reputation. The lawsuit raises significant questions about the accountability of talk shows that prioritize sensationalism over factual reporting. Rogan has underscored this issue, pointing out how the media often manipulates narratives for political gain. He highlighted the inconsistency in TheView's treatment of Trump, using it as an example of how media outlets shift their stances to align with prevailing political trends. Rogan criticized the coordinated attacks on Trump during his presidency, noting how the same individuals and outlets previously praised him. These observations mirror Musk's concerns about the media's role in shaping public perception and weaponizing narratives against high-profile figures. Goldberg's defense that her comments were about her cat has only added to the controversy. Many view this is a weak attempt to sidestep accountability, further intensifying scrutiny on TheView. Musk's supporters argue that the media should adhere to higher standards, particularly when making claims that could potentially harm reputations. The lawsuit highlights the growing tension between freedom of speech and the responsibility of media outlets to ensure accuracy and fairness in their reporting. Social media has been ablaze with reactions to Musk's lawsuit, with hashtags like #UpSupportDion and CancelView trending across platforms. Many supporters see Musk's legal action as a critical justified stand against misinformation, while critics worry about the implications for free speech. Rogan's involvement has added another layer of credibility to Musk's claims. Rogan's audience, known for its skepticism of mainstream media, embraced his criticism of TheView as further validation of Musk's position. During his podcast, Rogan didn't hold back in critiquing the intelligence and motivations of TheView's hosts. He described some of them as ideologically driven and accused the show of catering to a low-information audience. Rogan's blunt observations reinforced Musk's argument that mainstream media outlets often prioritize sensationalism over thoughtful and well-informed discussions by highlighting clips of TheView hosts previously celebrating Trump's success and later vilifying him. Rogan illustrated the media's tendency to exploit shifting narratives for their own gain. One particularly contentious aspect of the lawsuit is the accusation that Goldberg's remarks incited violence. Musk alleges that her comment about tripping Trump could be interpreted as encouraging harm. Goldberg later tried to downplay this, reiterating that the comment was a joke about her cat. However, critics argue that even if intended as humor, such remarks can have dangerous implications when broadcast to millions of viewers. Rogan weighed in on this, emphasizing the influence of talk shows and the dangers of normalizing violent rhetoric under the guise of comedy. The lawsuit sheds light on broader concerns about media bias. Critics of TheView have long accused the show of promoting politically motivated narratives and prioritizing controversy over balanced reporting. Musk supporters believe his lawsuit is a necessary intervention to address these issues and restore trust in journalism. Royd echoed this sentiment, arguing that legacy media outlets often sacrifice integrity for ratings and political agendas. The case has also reignited discussions about the role of media in shaping public opinion. Musk's supporters emphasize his advocacy for transparency and fairness, viewing his lawsuit as a step toward holding media outlets accountable. Rogan's commentary further amplifies these calls for reform, encouraging audiences to question the motives behind mainstream narratives. Critics of Musk, however, worry that his wealth and influence could stifle dissenting voices and set a precedent for using legal action to silence critics. Goldberg's defense has not done much to quell the controversy. Her emotional response and shifting explanations have only fueled further doubts about her credibility. Rogan's critique of her remarks added weight to Musk's claims, highlighting the need for clearer boundaries in media discussions, particularly in politically charged contexts. Musk's lawsuit, coupled with Robin's observations, underscores the importance of ethical journalism and the dangers of unchecked media influence. One of the most striking aspects of Robin's commentary is his critique of media hypocrisy. He pointed to earlier episodes of TheView, where the hosts warmly welcomed Trump, contrasting sharply with her later attacks on him. Rogan framed this shift as a calculated move to align the political trends rather than a genuine concern for fairness. This critique aligns with Musk's broader concerns about how media outlets manipulate narratives to suit their agendas. Basu also raises important questions about free speech, while Musk's supporters argue that his legal action is a necessary step to combat misinformation. Critics worry that it could have a chilling effect on open dialogue. They caution that lawsuits like this could discourage media outlets from covering controversial topics and voicing dissenting opinions regardless of their outcome. Musk's lawsuit has already had a significant impact. It has sparked widespread debates about media accountability, the ethics of commentary, and the balance between freedom of expression and responsible reporting. The case highlights the growing dissatisfaction with mainstream media narrative and the demand for higher standards in journalism. Rogan's involvement in the controversy has only added to its complexity. His critique of TheView and mainstream Maya resonates with a large audience, further amplifying Musk's calls for reform. Whether the lawsuit succeeds or fails, it underscores the need for transparency and accountability in media practices. It also serves as a reminder of the power and influence of alternative platforms like Ren's podcast in shaping public discourse. As the legal battle unfolds, it remains to be seen how it will impact much Goldberg and the broader media landscape for Musk supporters. The lawsuit represents a stand against misinformation and a push for ethical journalism for his critics. It raises concerns about the potential suppression of free speech, regardless of where one stands. The case highlights the ongoing tension between media freedom and accountability in a rapidly evolving information landscape. What's your take on Elon Musk lawsuit against Whoopi Goldberg? And the view is it a justified stand against media bias, or does it go too far in attempting to silence criticism? Share your thoughts in the comments and stay tuned for more updates on this unfolding story.